In ancient times, a new culture suddenly exploded across the vast terrain of Asia, Europe and Africa. They supplanted the early agrarian, nature-worshipping culture that had featured the earth goddess and her son, the Green Man. When the new culture arrived, the Green Man acquired horns and became the devil, and the Pleiades acquired the association with a bull and became part of the zodiacal sign of the bull sun, Taurus. A new, complete culture, known as the bull cult, had emerged, also known as the pre-Shivite culture in India. The origins of Shaivism is unclear and is a debate among scholars, but some trace back their origins to the Indus Valley civilization. This new cult quickly became a universal religion and succeeded in uniting the Asian, Europe and African peoples known as the Greeks, Celts, Anatolians and Egyptians. In all those countries during the bull cult, the Pleiades was said to be the goddess that transcended. In India, they associate the Pleiades with Murugan Kartikeya, the fiery celestial warrior. Murugan's Greek counterpart, Dionysus, was also intimately associated with the Seven Sisters. Dionysus's followers on earth honoured their deity as the manifestation of the bull sun. His bull cult lineage had arrived on Crete via Anatolia. Crucified Dionysus with the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades above his head. The association with the bull and the Pleiades was also known amongst Yazidis of northern Iraq. Their autumn festival was when the Pleiades was directly overhead in the night sky. Another reason they honoured the appearance of the Seven Sisters with special rites at this time was because it was also the court of their primary deity, the peacock angel, which also had association with the Seven Sisters and the bull sun. Billy Mayer claimed that he was contacted by the Pleiadians over 130 times. These contacts occurred between 1976 and 1982, with Billy meeting with his Pleiadian contact multiple times, even though he was initially contacted telepathically. Billy has gone on to write a handful of books on the subject and has been at the centre of controversy for years. According to the Pleiadian history on Earth, the last Pleiadian leader to leave Earth was in 10 AD and went by the name of Gabriel. Apparently, the reason the Pleiadians left Earth is to give people the chance to evolve down their own path. However, they did leave one Pleiadian leader behind, an entity by the name of Jmmanuel. This Jmmanuel was a powerful spiritual leader that possessed a soul that had evolved far greater beyond that of humans. Jmmanuel was a son of Gabriel and his mother was called Mary. Some people believe this to be the true origin of Jesus. Legend tells that the Pleiadians will soon return to Earth to aid humans on their spiritual path, possibly at the time of a major crisis. Gabriel in the Abrahamic religions is an archangel. He was first described in the Hebrew Bible and was subsequently adopted by other religions. In the Hebrew Bible, Gabriel appears to the prophet Daniel to explain his visions. The archangel also appears in the book of Enoch. Gabriel is described as the archangel of Israel, defending his people against the angels of other nations. Many Christian traditions, including Anglicanism, Eastern Orthodoxy, and Roman Catholicism, revere Gabriel as a saint. In the book of Ezekiel, Gabriel is thought to be the angel that was sent to destroy Jerusalem. According to the Jewish Encyclopedia, the Archangel Gabriel takes the form of a man and stands at the left hand of God. Islam holds Gabriel as an archangel sent by God to various prophets, among them Muhammad. The Latter-day Saints hold that the angel Gabriel is the same person as Noah in his mortal ministry. The intertestamental period, roughly 200 BC to 50 AD, produced a wealth of literature, much of it having an apocalyptic orientation. The names of angels and demons were greatly expanded, and each had particular duties and statements before God. In the book of Enoch it reads, Gabriel saw much blood being spilt upon the earth, and heard the souls of men cry, bring our cause amongst the Most High. In Enoch 10:1, the reply came from the Most High, the Holy and Great One, that sent forth agents, including Gabriel. And the Lord said to Gabriel, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of the watchers amongst men. Send them one against each other, so that they may destroy each other. Gabriel is one of the 5 angels that keep watch, one of the holy angels who is over paradise and the cherubim and the serpents. The story of Gabriel blowing a trumpet blast to indicate the Lord's return to earth is very familiar. After the rapture starts, the wrath of God, in which away the earth is totally cleansed of any human or demonic opposition to the government of God. This wrath of God is initiated when the 7th seal is opened and the 7 trumpets of Revelation are sounded. Revelation 8:2 states, and I saw the 7 angels that stand before God, and 7 trumpets were given to them. Revelation 8:6. And the 7 angels, who have the 7 trumpets, prepared themselves to sound them. The first 4 trumpet sounds bring destruction upon the earth, but the last 3 are called woes. This is similar to the time of Noah's flood. Earth is destroyed by the 7 trumpet blasts. After the 7 trumpets of Revelation, there are 7 bowls of wrath, which are the consummation. God curses the unrepentant people with more plagues. When the 7th bowl of wrath is poured, Satan influences the world leaders and their armies to gather at Megiddo for the battle of Armageddon, to fight Christ and his saints. Revelation 19:19. But the devil is no match for Christ and his armies. The leopard beast and his false prophet were thrown into the lake of fire. Revelation 19:20. Satan is chained for 1,000 years and the new millennium begins. In Latter-day Saints theology, Gabriel is thought to have lived a mortal life as the prophet Noah. The two are regarded as the same individual, Noah being his mortal name and Gabriel being his heavenly name. Gabriel is one of the primary archangels and is the angel of revelation in Islam. Muhammad saw Gabriel in his full angelic splendour only twice, the first time being when he received his first revelation. As the Bible portrays Gabriel as a celestial messenger, so do other religions. Gabriel was sent to numerous people. He is known by many names in Islam, such as Keeper of Holiness and Peacock of Paradise. Gabriel also questions Muhammad on the core tenets of Islam. Contrary to Christian tradition, Islamic traditions depict Gabriel as the warring angel, very similar to how Gabriel is portrayed in Judaism. Gabriel is sent to destroy the people who God wants annihilated. Angels are described as pure spirits. The lack of a defined form allows artists wide latitude in depicting them. Byzantine iconography always portrays them as light hair, light eyes and light skin. The Yazidis of Iraq consider Gabriel one of the 7 mysteries, the heptad to which God entrusted the world, and sometimes identified with Melek Taus. Melek Taus, also spelled Malik Taus, translated in English as Peacock Angel, is one of the central figures of Yazidi religion. In Yazidi creation stories, God created the world and entrusted it to 7 holy beings, often known as angels. The Yazidi Book of Revelation, a text generally believed to be written by non-Yazidis, along with the Yazidi Black Book, is purported to contain the words of Tayyuz Melek. The Yazidi consider Tayyuz Melek an emanation of God and a good benevolent angel and leader of the archangels, and is entrusted to take care of the world after he passed the test and created the cosmos from the cosmic egg. They believe he's not a source of evil. He is not a fallen or disgraced angel, but an emanation of God himself. The Kite Basile Book of Illuminations, which claims to be the words of Jmmanuel himself, states, "I was present when Adam was living in paradise, and also when Nimrod threw Abraham in the fire. I was present when God said to me, 'You are the ruler and God on earth.' God, the compassionate, gave me 7 earths and throne of the heaven." Yazidi accounts of creation differ from Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They believe that God first created Jmmanuel from his own illumination, and the other 6 archangels were created later. God ordered Jmmanuel not to bow to other beings. Then God created the other archangels, and ordered them to bring him dust from the earth, and build the body of Adam. Then God gave life to Adam from his own breath, and instructed all archangels to bow to Adam. All the archangels obeyed, apart from Jmmanuel. In answer to God, Jmmanuel replied, "How can I submit to another being? I am from your illumination, while Adam is made from dust." Then God praised him and made him the leader of all angels and deputy on earth. About 10 AD, the last Pleiadian leader, called Plejas, left Earth because Pleiadians finally achieved peace back home. They thought it was time for humans to evolve on their own. But before leaving Earth, the Pleiadians left a spiritual leader called Jmmanuel, who later became known as Jesus. Jmmanuel was a very evolved soul, whose father was Gabriel of the Pleiades system and Mary of Lyran descent. Earth continued to evolve on its own without direct Pleiadian leadership until our present time. In the very near future, as Earth reaches the Photon Belt, the Pleiadians are going to help bring all humans on Earth into the light. The name Pleiades and Pleiadians is becoming well known among humans on Earth. In January 2014, Forbes released an article saying that Iran says tall white space aliens control America. The article cites the famous whistleblower Edward Snowden leaked documents. Bruce Fenton, author and guest on the famous science program The Unexplained Files, and esteemed researcher Stephen Strong, revealed several mysterious ancient sites that are located in Australia. They lead an exhaustive research for evidence to support the claims made by local indigenous populations, supported by numerous photos and images. We are introduced to the incredible physical evidence having a lost civilization that once existed in Australia, one that held advanced knowledge and technology. This civilization proclaimed themselves to be from an out-of-this-world origin, one in the direction of the so-called Seven Sisters, or the Pleiades. Interestingly, long before the current ideas of ancient astronauts, H.P. Lovecraft set the Pleiades as the home of his fictional characters, the Great Old Ones. H.P. Lovecraft created a number of deities throughout the course of his literary career, such as the Great Old Ones and the Elder Things. An ongoing theme in Lovecraft's work is the complete irrelevance mankind has in the face of horrors that apparently exist in the universe, with Lovecraft constantly referring to the Great Old Ones, a loose pantheon of ancient powerful gods who were from space and once ruled Earth. In Lovecraft's stories, the benevolent deity is called Nodens, or Lord of the Great Abyss, also referred to as Noada of the Silver Hand. He is based on the Celtic deity Nodens, associated with healing, the sea and hunting. He was worshipped in ancient Britain, most notably at a temple park near Gloucestershire, and also was worshipped in Gaul. He has been equated with the Roman gods Mars and Silvanus, and his name is cognate with the Irish mythological figure Nuada. In Irish mythology, Nuada, known by Silverhand, was the first king of the Tuatha De Danann. He is thought to have been a god and is related to the British and Gaulish god Nodens. He is also associated with hunting and fishing. Nuada was king of the Tuatha De Danann for 7 years before they came to Ireland. They made contact with the Firbolg, the then inhabitants of the island, and Nuada sought from them half of the island, which their king rejected. Both peoples made ready for war, but in an act of chivalry, allowed their arms and numbers to be inspected by the opposing side, to allow for a truly fair battle. During this first great battle, Nuada lost an arm in combat with the Firbolg champion Sveg, but Nuada's ally, Enkeba of Norway, then fought Sven. 50 of Nuada's soldiers carried him from the field, and the Tuatha gained the upper hand in the battle, and the Tuatha were victorious. The Tuatha then decided to offer the Firbolgs 1/4 of Ireland instead of the 1/2 offered before the battle, and he chose Connacht. The Fomorians were mythological enemies of the Tuatha De Danann and the people of Ireland, often equated with the mythological opposing force such as the Greek Titans to the Olympians. The second battle of Mad Tuireag, Nuada was killed and beheaded by Balor. Nuada's name is also cognate with that of a Welsh figure, Lud Lor Iraint, or Lud of the Silver Hand. The Norse god Tyr is also another deity equated with Mars, who also lost a hand. Sabazios is another Indo-European deity associated with a sacred hand. The legendary British king Lud may therefore ultimately be derived from Nodins, traditionally associated with the city of London. The Fisher King of Arthurian legend is therefore proposed as a survival of this deity. The Tuatha are said to have retreated into the fairy mounds, cloaking their presence by raising the fairy mist. The Tuatha De Danann can be linked to the same origin as the gods in Greek mythology. Hesiod calls the Greek gods the Golden Race. In Irish mythology, Ireland was subject to 6 invasions. The first 5 were from otherworldly beings, and the last was from Milesians. The Tuatha was known to come from the heavens. This information had been passed down from Dispater, the god of the underworld. These stories stayed in the oral tradition because the Irish had not been invaded, like the surrounding countries. In conjunction, the Druidic schools wanted to contain the stories in verbal form. This kept the stories in circulation to the culture and public.
This story is the one I sort of mentioned earlier in the show that I kept having to look back up and go, am I really reading Forbes right now? Is this really Forbes, or am I reading The Onion? Am I reading a joke website? But no, this is the story from Forbes.com. Iran says that tall, white space aliens control America. Documents leaked by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden conclusively prove that the United States has been ruled by a race of tall, white space aliens.